Hey guys, what is going on? It's Lazarus here, back with another MLB The Show 19 video, and today we're going to be going over my predictions for this Friday's upcoming roster update. There's been plenty of players who are absolutely killing it recently, and you're going to be seeing a lot of those guys on this list. So, without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get right into it. So naturally, we're going to be starting with the catcher position, and our first upgrade candidate here is Willson Contreras. He's been absolutely killing the ball lately. So far this year, hitting .318 with a .455 on base and an OPS of 1.227, along with 6 home runs. He's starting to look like the elite hitter he was a couple years ago, and I don't think it's unrealistic to see a slight boost in his power stats. Our next catcher is Gary Sanchez, the one and only, and although he's currently on the IL, before he went on it, he was absolutely crushing the ball with a line of .268, .333, and .732, but there was also some significant improvements to his defense. He wasn't letting every single ball go by, and he looked like a competent catcher, but there were some errant throws in there as well. So I was thinking maybe his fielding can go up a smidge, but maybe tone down the arm a little bit and give his hitting stats just a tiny boost so he's not too OP. Next up, we're going to be moving on to the first base position. And leading it off there is going to be Cody Bellinger, who's been far and away the hottest player in all of baseball. He's been absolutely killing it up to this point with a line of .433, .513, and .925, along with 9 home runs and 23 RBIs. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball, and I think it might be even fair to call him the best. So although he's already a pretty good overall, some of those hitting stats should definitely get increased. Next, we're going to be moving on to young Mets star Pete Alonso, who's been absolutely crushing it in the big leagues so far. Through his 17 major league games, he has a line of .328, .423, and .738, along with 6 home runs and 17 RBIs. So he's definitely been living up to the hype, and we should see him be getting an upgrade. And finally, our last first baseman is going to be Rhys Hoskins, who's gotten off to a pretty good start this season. He has a good line with .268, .414, and .607, and 5 home runs. And to be honest, I'm a little surprised that he started the season at a 78 overall, and I definitely think he'll be making the jump to gold very soon, perhaps with some slight increases to his hitting stats. Should be enough to put him over the hump. Now we're going to be moving on to the second base position, and the first second baseman we're going to be looking at is Colton Wong of the St. Louis Cardinals. And he's gotten off to a good start this season so far, with a line of .280, .413, and .600. It's a very realistic possibility that those hitting numbers could go up, and we'll see him get a slight upgrade. Our next second baseman is Whit Merrifield, who of course was well known for his hitting streak, even though it's all over now, but he really put himself on the map, and he's a pretty underrated player. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised that if he keeps playing like he did to begin the season, he could essentially find his way to diamond level, but he's going to have to be very consistent for that to happen. Regardless, he's going to get upgraded, but he's not quite going to make that big leap just yet. So now we're going to be going on and moving to third base, where our first player is already pretty good. It's Anthony Rendon, who's currently a diamond, but that doesn't mean he can't improve. He's been absolutely destroying the ball this season, with his line being .400, .460, and .873, so although he's already a high overall, he should definitely see an upgrade. The next third baseman we're going to be looking at is Yandy Diaz from the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's another guy that's gotten off to a hot start, with a line of .255, .373, and .473. Now he's starting to cool down a little bit, but since he's such a low overall, and he's been playing pretty well, I think it's realistic that he could see some upgrades. Now moving on to the shortstop position, first player we're going to be looking at is Tim Anderson from the Chicago White Sox, and he's been off to a crazy start this year. .421, .431, and .632. He's been one of the most hot hitters in the league, and he's still pretty looked down upon, pretty low key. This crazy hitting performance should put him on the map and get that low overall of his raised up. Next we're looking at twin shortstop Jorge Polanco, who is also hitting up over .400, with his line of .415, .467, and .755. As you can see, that OPS is crazy, and like Tim Anderson, he's also a very low overall, so it doesn't take much for him to get upgraded. Next up, we're going to be looking at Dansby Swanson, who started to cool down a little bit, but he's still off to a good start. With his line of 292, 410, and 625, along with 4 homers and 18 RBIs, he's been showing that he's a pretty good hitter so far. And I was surprised that he was only rated a 72. I thought he'd at least be like a 75 or something like that. But he will be soon after he gets upgraded. And our final shortstop is going to be former #1 overall pick, Tim Beckham, who's playing for the surprising Seattle Mariners now. And like many other guys on the team, he's doing pretty damn good so far this year. With a line of 317, 386, and 603 with 4 homers and 12 ribbies, he's been one of the more important hitters on that crazy Seattle Mariners offense. And again, like the other shortstops on this list, his overall is really low. So he should be getting that up. Now that we have all the infield positions out of the way, we can finally move on to the outfield. The first outfielder we're going to be talking about is Kiki Hernandez, who's thus far this season has a line of 296, 381, and 593 with 4 homers and 10 RBIs. Now he's only ranked at about a 75 overall, so I don't see him getting a huge boost, but maybe a +1. Probably not a +2, but we'll see if he can keep this going throughout the season. Next up is Michael Conforto from the Mets. We all know he had that really nice year a couple seasons ago, and since then has been dealing with injuries and just overall inconsistency. But so far in 2019, it looks like he's back on the right track, with the line of 313, 418, and 597 with 4 homers and 10 ribbies. He's a silver as well, and I don't think he's going to be going gold quite yet. If he continues playing like this, hitting like this, then jumping to gold is a real possibility for him. The Orioles season isn't looking to have a lot of bright spots this year, but there is one perhaps, and that's Trey Mancini, who's absolutely destroying the ball this year. He has a line of 338, 392, and 676 with 6 homers and 12 RBIs, and I know for a fact he's not rated too high in the game. Considering just how good he's doing compared to everyone else on the team, I think that he's due for an upgrade. We'll definitely see that come sooner rather than later. Domingo Santana is another guy who caught a whiff of that crazy Seattle Mariners 2019 magic, and he's also doing very well. With his line of 354, 420, and 557, with 4 homers and 24 RBIs already, he's almost certainly going to get an upgrade because he is hitting absolutely off the charts. So far this year, Jason Hayward has really shocked the world by actually being a pretty decent baseball player and almost kind of sort of living up to his big contract. So far, he has a line of 362, 458, and 638 with 4 homers and 10 RBIs, and while still playing that premium defense the Cubs are paying for. After the last couple years have been pretty awful, if he continues to play like this, we're going to see a big change in his overall as he finally plays like the player he's being paid to be. Alex Gordon is another player who's bouncing back pretty nicely from a couple mediocre seasons, and although the Royals are pretty bad, he's doing good this year with a line of 345, 429, and 603 with 3 homers and 13 RBIs. He's looking a lot more like the Alex Gordon of old, and if he continues, his overall is going to reflect that compared to the new washed up Alex Gordon. And finally, our last legend is going to have to be Ronald Acuna Jr. because, just being honest, there's no reason why he shouldn't be a diamond. The devs clearly toned down his fielding so that he'd be a high gold because he's not as bad as a common fielder should be in real life. So I definitely see this mistake getting fixed soon, and if it doesn't, then it certainly should. But he's someone I would stock up on while you have the chance. Now on to the pitching side of things. Our first starter is going to be German Marquez, who came pretty close to throwing a no-no the other day, but unfortunately couldn't finish the job. And ever since last year, he has been one of the better pitchers in all of baseball. So far this year, he's 2-1 with a 2 ERA, 25 Ks in 27 innings pitched, and a 143 averaged against. He's been absolutely dominant, and I think it's only a matter of time till we see his card in MLB The Show 19 reflect that. Unfortunately, Blake Snell just got put on the IL of the day I'm recording this, but I don't think that's going to slow down the Blake Snell to Diamond train. The way he's pitching, he should absolutely be a diamond card, because so far he's been money, but he has to get back healthy first. So keep this name in your head, but also keep your eye on Tyler Glasnow, who is absolutely dominating everybody. The final starting pitcher on our list is going to be Marcus Stroman, who's looking a lot like the Marcus Stroman of old, pitching to a much better 1.99 ERA this year, despite an 0-3 record. And Matt Shoemaker and Aaron Sanchez are also doing pretty well on that staff, but I think Stroman has the best chance for consistent success, so with his low overall and good performance, he could definitely be going up. Alright, so we got a couple more relievers and then we'll be done with the video. Our first reliever is Lou Trevino on the Oakland A's. If you've used him in the game, you know he's pretty nasty, but he's also doing well in real life too. He has a 1.64 ERA and 11 innings pitched, with 13 strikeouts and just a 158 opponent batting average. If he continues doing this, he could definitely be a low gold candidate, so keep your eye on him for sure. Next up, we're going to be talking about San Diego Padres star Kirby Yates, who's currently sporting a 0.9 ERA in 10 innings pitched this year with a 167 opponent average. And since he's already a gold, it's a little bit less likely that he'll get upgraded, but if he continues to pitch well, then he's certainly someone you're going to want to keep on your radar. And finally, the last player in my video today is going to be Brian Shaw, relief pitcher on the Colorado Rockies. Currently has a 0.87 ERA in 10 1/3 innings pitched with a 152 opponent average. And he was pretty good on the Cleveland Indians a few years ago, but obviously going to Colorado can be a struggle for some people. But as of right now, he's pitching pretty darn well, and if he continues that, he's definitely a candidate to go up. Well guys, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below, who do you think is going to be getting upgraded? And also, what kind of videos are you guys interested in seeing? Always curious to hear your feedback. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.